Jack stepped off the small transport shuttle and onto the smooth metal floor of the space station. The air smelled faintly of ozone and alien flowers, a mix that was strangely calming. He took a deep breath and stretched, feeling the familiar tug in his left leg. His muscle cramps had been worse than usual on this trip. Long hours piloting ships through asteroid belts had taken their toll. He flexed his toes and grimaced. Maybe this alien therapist is my only hope, he thought. The clinic was tucked in a quiet corridor lined with shimmering panels that reflected soft, multicolored light. Jack approached the door marked Thirali, Physical and Energy Therapy. The name was strange, but he had read about her reputation in the Interstellar Health Database. Reports praised her advanced healing techniques, some so unique they sounded impossible. Humans rarely received her attention. Most clients were aliens with multiple limbs or unusual physiology. Jack was nervous, but curiosity won. He entered. The room was bright and clean, yet it carried a natural warmth. Walls were lined with alien plants that pulsed with a soft glow, and a gentle hum of energy filled the air. Jack's eyes followed the shapes, fascinated by leaves that changed color when touched and vines that seemed almost alive. In the center of the room stood a figure, tall and slender, with skin that shimmered faintly under the lights. And then, he noticed it. The figure had 4 arms folded neatly in front of her. "Welcome, Jack," the alien said in perfect galactic basic. Her voice was smooth and calm, almost musical. "I am Thirali. I understand you are suffering from recurring muscle cramps." Her 2 lower arms gestured slightly, emphasizing her words, while the upper 2 remained still but poised. Jack froze for a moment, his mouth half open. He had read that Thirali had extra limbs, but seeing 4 arms moving independently was jarring. Yes, that's me. I don't really know if anything can help," he said. His voice sounded small even to him. Thirali tilted her head, in a gesture that seemed almost human. "Skepticism is natural. Humans often underestimate the potential of alien techniques. Please make yourself comfortable." She gestured toward a soft, floating platform that adjusted to his weight. Hesitant, Jack sat. The platform conformed perfectly to his body, easing tension in his shoulders immediately. Thirali began to explain the therapy. "My techniques combine physical manipulation with energy alignment. The extra limbs allow precise multitasking. Each arm can focus on different areas simultaneously, creating harmony in the muscles and nervous system." Jack blinked. "Multitasking? With 4 arms?" "Yes," she said with a small smile. "You will see." He took a deep breath, trying to calm the nervous flutter in his stomach. "Okay, let's try it." Thirali moved with smooth grace. Her 4 hands worked in perfect synchronization. 2 focused on Jack's legs, easing tight muscles with expert pressure. The other 2 massaged his shoulders and arms, kneading knots and stimulating circulation. Jack felt a strange warmth spreading through him like tiny sparks of energy connecting every muscle in his body. This is incredible," Jack muttered. His voice was soft, almost in awe. He had never felt anything like it. Every cramp, every ache seemed to melt away. Thirali continued, her hands moving with delicate precision. "Your body stores tension not only in muscles but in patterns of energy. By aligning both, we release pain faster." Jack exhaled slowly. "I never thought... humans usually just stretch or take medicine. Nothing works like this." Thirali paused and rested her hands lightly on his shoulders. "Humans are remarkable. Your resilience allows rapid adaptation. The combination of your determination and my techniques produces results that would surprise most." Jack couldn't help but smile, a little pride shining through his relief. "So, you think I can actually get rid of these cramps?" I'm confident," she said, "but it requires focus. Your cooperation is essential." Jack nodded. "I'm ready. Whatever it takes." She smiled faintly. Then, almost casually, she said, "Tell me about your missions, the places you travel, the pressures you face. Muscle tension often mirrors emotional stress. Jack hesitated. He had flown through asteroid storms, navigated cargo through unstable wormholes, and survived engine failures in the dead of space. The memories felt distant, yet each had left a mark. He began to speak. Thirali listened, her forearms moving gently in rhythm, adjusting pressure based on his reactions. Hours, or maybe minutes, he couldn't tell, passed. Jack felt lighter, not just in his muscles but in his mind. The cramps were fading, replaced by a curious energy that tingled along his spine. The sensation was alien yet invigorating. Finally, Thirali paused. Her arms rested gently on his shoulders, then lifted gracefully. "You have done well. This is only the first session. Continued work will strengthen the effect. Your muscles and energy will adapt rapidly." Jack got up slowly. His legs felt strong, flexible, almost new. He tested a stretch and smiled in surprise. I can't remember the last time I felt this good." Thirali's upper arms gestured toward him. "Remember, Jack, your body is capable. Sometimes all it needs is guidance and understanding. Humans may think they are fragile, but your species' resilience is extraordinary." Jack laughed softly. "Extraordinary? Yeah, I think I'll take that." As he left the clinic, he felt a strange mix of relief and excitement. Muscle cramps had been a constant, frustrating companion for years, but now he felt a spark of hope. He glanced back at the clinic door. Thirali's forearms moved with quiet elegance, a reminder that sometimes the most unexpected encounters could change everything. Jack returned to his ship, stretching one more time. No cramps, no tension, just energy and readiness. He smiled. The galaxy felt a little less daunting now, and somewhere deep inside he knew this was only the beginning of an extraordinary journey. Jack returned to the clinic the next day, his curiosity stronger than any lingering hesitation. The memory of Thirali's forearms still lingered in his mind. He had never imagined therapy could feel so alive. Every movement of her limbs had a rhythm, almost like a dance perfectly tuned to human anatomy. Today, he wondered, would be different. Could the session go even deeper? Thirali greeted him as he entered. "Welcome back, Jack. You seem more at ease today." Her forearms moved in subtle gestures, adjusting the small floating panels around her as if preparing the room for a new rhythm of therapy. Jack nodded, still taking in the sight of her extra limbs. "I am more relaxed, yes. Yesterday, it was unlike anything I've ever felt." She inclined her head slightly. "The first session is always about introducing your body to the methods. Today we go further." She gestured toward the therapy platform. "Please lie down." Jack climbed onto the soft, floating platform, which adjusted instantly to his weight. He stretched out, muscles still carrying traces of soreness from his long flight. Thirali moved close, her forearms hovering, like precise instruments waiting. "Before we begin," she said softly, "I want you to focus. Think of your muscles as living systems. They store your experiences, your stress, your fears. Each tension has a story. Can you sense it?" Jack closed his eyes. He tried, though at first it felt strange. Slowly, he imagined the tightness in his calves, the stiffness in his back, even the fatigue in his shoulders. He pictured them as knots, small and stubborn, resisting release. Thirali began gently, her four hands moving in perfect coordination. Two arms focused on Jack's legs, kneading the muscles and stretching fibers with careful precision. The other two worked on his back and shoulders, loosening tight tissue, aligning energy points, and stimulating circulation. Jack's body responded immediately. The sensation was unlike any human therapy he had experienced. Every cramp, every tight knot, felt like it was being lifted layer by layer. His mind followed the rhythm of her arms, the coordinated movements creating a pattern of calm and clarity. "This is incredible," Jack muttered, feeling a warmth spreading from his shoulders down to his legs. "I can feel everything loosening." Thirali's voice was soft. "Muscle tension is often linked to unresolved experiences. Your body remembers more than you realize. Humans carry these memories differently from my species. That is why my methods require precision and awareness. Jack tried to imagine his past missions, flying through asteroid fields, repairing engines in zero gravity, surviving sudden meteor storms, all the small stresses and dangers he had endured. He realized that much of the tension in his body was not just physical, but also mental, a reflection of years of pushing beyond limits. Thorali sensed the shift in him. Her forearms moved in a new rhythm, faster in some areas, slower in others, adjusting instinctively to Jack's reactions. It was almost like she was reading him, not just his muscles, but his entire system. Jack's breathing slowed. His mind cleared. The tension melted. "You are responding well," Thorali said. "The body and mind must work together. Your muscles have begun to remember freedom, the way they should feel." Jack smiled, feeling lightness in places he had forgotten could move freely. "I never imagined something like this could exist. Humans, we rely on simple methods, stretching, medicine. But this, it's something else entirely." Thorali's upper right hand traced gentle lines along his spine. "Humans are capable of more than they know. Adaptation, resilience, and persistence are your strengths. These allow your body to respond quickly to new methods." Jack let himself relax. Completely drifting, Jack returned to the clinic a few days later, feeling a mix of excitement and curiosity. The sessions with Thorali had already made a remarkable difference. His muscles were stronger, more flexible, and his cramps nearly gone. Yet he could feel there was more to learn. Thorali's forearms were not just tools for therapy. They seemed like extensions of knowledge, precise, thoughtful, and full of purpose. "Welcome back, Jack," Thorali said, her voice calm and melodic. The forearms moved smoothly, adjusting the small floating panels and tools in the room. "You have progressed quickly. Today, we explore deeper layers, both physical and mental." Jack nodded, lying down on the platform. He still marveled at how her extra limbs moved independently yet in perfect harmony. "Deeper layer?" he asked. "What do you mean?" Thorali's upper arms traced subtle patterns in the air, lines of glowing energy that seemed almost alive. "The body carries memories, Jack. Not just of injury or fatigue, but of stress, fear, and pressure from experiences. To fully release your cramps, we must address both muscle and mind. Today you will learn to connect with your body on a new level." Jack took a deep breath and closed his eyes. He could feel the tension remaining in his shoulders and calves, tiny knots still stubborn after space flights and long missions. "I'm ready," he said quietly. Thorali began with her lower arms, placing gentle pressure on Jack's calves. They moved like living tools, pressing and stretching with precision. The upper arms hovered over his back and shoulders, following invisible energy lines, tracing patterns that seemed to hum softly in the air. Jack felt the familiar warmth spreading through his muscles, but this time it was different. The forearms were not just loosening tension, they were teaching him to feel his body, to understand where tightness came from, and how to release it consciously. "Focus," Thorali said, softly. "Feel your muscles and imagine the energy flowing freely. Let your body respond to its own signals. You do not need to control it, only guide it." Jack did as instructed. He imagined each knot as a small stone lodged in his muscles. As Thorali's arms moved, he pictured the stones lifting, dissolving into streams of energy that traveled along his limbs. His cramps began to fade, replaced by an unfamiliar lightness. "This is incredible," Jack whispered. "I can feel the tension leaving, like it's melting." Thorali's voice was gentle. "Humans often underestimate your body's ability to adapt. Your species is strong, but the mind sometimes limits the body. By teaching awareness, we remove those limits." Jack realized she was right. In space, he had relied on strength and endurance, but often ignored his body's signals. He remembered times when he had pushed through pain, letting cramps and stiffness become part of his routine. Now, guided by the forearms, he could sense everything. The stress from long missions, the small aches from sudden maneuvers, even the tension in his fingers after hours of controls. Thorali's lower arms shifted to his thighs while the upper arms hovered near his spine. Your body is responding well. Notice how energy flows differently in each part. Focus on these patterns. Humans can learn to influence energy in subtle ways even without multiple limbs. Jack concentrated. He could feel the energy pulsing, spreading in waves from his back to his legs. His body moved without conscious thought, muscles relaxing as if remembering their natural state. He felt a sense of freedom he had never known, muscles stretching easily, limbs aligning naturally, and a lightness in his chest and shoulders. "You are doing very well," Thorali said. "Now we take the next step." Mental connection strengthens, physical results. Close your eyes and imagine your body moving effortlessly, unburdened by fatigue or tension. Feel it as real. Jack followed her instructions. In his mind, he ran through asteroid fields, maneuvering his ship with ease, climbing ladders on space stations, even lifting heavy cargo, all without stiffness or pain. Each movement felt natural. He noticed how his fingers and toes worked together, how his back aligned with each motion, and how energy flowed freely. Thorali's arms moved in response, almost like a silent orchestra. Two focused on maintaining alignment in his legs, while the others guided energy in his back and shoulders. Jack felt a harmony he had never experienced, a partnership between human effort and alien precision. "You are learning to listen to your body, Jack," Thorali said. "Not just to respond, but to guide. Humans often fear limits, yet your adaptability is extraordinary. Today you unlock a level most humans never reach." Jack smiled, a mix of awe and gratitude. "I never imagined therapy could feel like this. It's more than physical. It's like training my body and mind together." "Yes," Thorali said, her voice soft. "Humans have great potential. With patience and guidance, your species can achieve harmony that surprises even advanced civilizations." The session ended gradually, the four arms withdrawing with careful grace. Jack stretched slowly, noticing every detail of his body, muscles aligned, energy flowing, and strength renewed. He stood feeling a balance he had never known. "I feel amazing," Jack said quietly. "Not just the cramps, they're gone, but everything feels connected." Thorali inclined her head. "This is only the beginning, Jack. Your body will continue to adapt between sessions. Each visit strengthens the connection between mind and muscle, unlocking your full potential." Jack stepped off the platform, feeling lighter, freer, and ready for challenges he had once thought difficult. He glanced at Thorali's forearms moving with quiet elegance and understood that therapy was more than healing. It was learning, growth, and trust between species. As he left the clinic, he realized something important. Humans might face limitations, but with curiosity, persistence, and willingness to learn, they could achieve more than they imagined. His body was stronger, his mind sharper, and a small spark of confidence glowed within him. Jack returned to his ship, stretching one last time. For the first time in years, he felt fully ready, not just for space travel, but for life itself. And somewhere in the quiet hum of the space station, he knew that Thorali's forearms were guiding him toward a new understanding of what it meant to be human, resilient, adaptable, and full of potential. Jack woke the next morning with more energy than he had felt in years. His muscles stretched without protest. His legs carried him with ease, and even his shoulders, which had always been stiff, felt loose and light. He smiled as he dressed. The sessions with Thorali were changing him, not just physically, but in ways he didn't yet understand. When he arrived at the clinic for his next appointment, the hallway was strangely quiet. Usually soft music and glowing lights filled the air, but now a dull flicker danced across the walls. Jack frowned. Something felt wrong. He stepped inside. Thorali stood near the center of the room, her forearms raised slightly as if balancing invisible threads. Panels along the walls flickered with unstable light, and the glowing plants seemed to wilt. The soft hum that normally filled the space was gone. "Thorali?" Jack asked, concerned. Her eyes flickered toward him, calm but serious. The station has suffered an energy surge. Systems are unstable. The therapy field is collapsing and the plants that regulate air balance are weakening. If this continues, the clinic may become unsafe. Jack immediately stepped forward. What can I do to help? Thorali's lower arm steadied a glowing vine while her upper ones tapped commands into a control panel. I must focus on stabilizing the energy field, but I cannot reach the manual converters in time. They are designed for fine adjustments. Difficult for my species. Jack's instincts kicked in. Show me where they are. Thorali pointed one hand toward a side wall, where a panel had partially opened. Inside, Jack saw an array of glowing crystals, wires, and levers. Alien. Machinery. Humming unevenly. Sparks flickered. It looked fragile and complex. Those are the converters, she explained. They regulate flow between the energy field and the plants. The controls require rapid adjustments, something my hands are less suited for. But humans, your reflexes are quick, your hands steady under pressure. Jack swallowed. He had fixed ship engines in the middle of meteor storms and patched oxygen leaks with seconds to spare. This was different, but the challenge sparked his focus. I'll do it, he said firmly. Thorali gave a small nod. I will guide you. Jack knelt before the converters. The glow of the crystals painted his hands in blue and green light. He hesitated for only a moment before reaching inside. The levers resisted his touch, stiff and delicate at once. Steady, Thorali said, her voice calm even as her forearms moved swiftly around the room. Turn the first lever to release tension. Not too much. Listen to the sound. Jack twisted carefully. The humming shifted, steadier now. He felt a rush of confidence. Good, she said. Now adjust the crystal alignment. Use both hands. Keep pressure even. Jack's fingers worked quickly, sliding the crystals into place. A surge of light passed through the converter, stabilizing part of the field. The plants perked slightly, their glow returning. Jack grinned. It's working. Do not celebrate yet, Thorali replied, though her voice carried warmth. There are still 2 more converters. Jack moved to the next one. Sweat gathered on his forehead as sparks snapped near his hands. His muscles tightened with focus, but unlike before, no cramp struck him. His body was steady, strong, and coordinated, proof that Thorali's therapy had prepared him for moments like this. The Seco. Jack returned to the clinic a few days later with a spring in his step. Since the energy surge incident, he had been waiting eagerly for the next session. His body still felt stronger, but there was something more. He felt sharper, calmer, and somehow lighter. Every movement seemed easier. It was as if Thorali's therapy had unlocked a new version of himself. When he entered the clinic, Thorali was already waiting. Her forearms were folded neatly in front of her, but Jack had learned by now that those arms were never idle, for long. Each one was capable of moving with speed and precision, and today he wondered what new technique she might reveal. Welcome, Jack, Thorali said with her usual calm voice. You have adapted quickly. Your body responds not only to my guidance but also to your own awareness. That is rare. Jack smiled. I think I've learned more here than in years of training as a pilot. My cramps are gone, and I feel like I can handle anything. But you said last time that this was only the beginning. What comes next? Thorali's lower arms tapped gently on the side of the therapy platform, almost like a drumbeat. Now, we attempt a full alignment. It is the most advanced method I use. It requires all 4 of my arms working together on different points of your body at once. Few humans have experienced it. Jack raised his eyebrows. Full alignment? Sounds serious. It is, Thorali replied. It will connect every major muscle group and energy channel at the same time. If done correctly, it can regenerate strength, remove deep fatigue, and improve coordination. But it requires trust. Jack climbed onto the platform without hesitation. Then I trust you. Let's do it. Thorali gave a small nod. Very well, close your eyes. Focus only on your breathing. Jack obeyed, breathing slowly. The room grew quieter, and he could hear the faint hum of the plants and the distant pulse of the energy field. Then he felt her touch. Her forearms moved in perfect synchronization. Two worked on his legs, one pressing into his calves, the other stretching the tendons in his thighs. The other two arms pressed gently into his back and shoulders, tracing invisible lines of energy. The sensation was overwhelming at first. Jack felt pressure and warmth from all directions, his muscles reacting at once. "This is intense," Jack whispered. "Breathe," Thorali reminded him. "Do not resist. Allow your body to follow the rhythm." Jack inhaled deeply, then exhaled. Slowly, the intensity shifted into something new. His muscles loosened, but also felt alive, as if they were being awakened. The forearms moved faster, sometimes pressing firmly, sometimes gliding smoothly. Jack felt his body aligning, every muscle connected in one flowing pattern. He realized something strange. He could sense the timing of her movements before they happened. It was almost like their rhythms had synchronized. Each press of her hands, each stretch of his muscles, matched perfectly with his breath. Thorali's voice was low, but steady. "Good. You are listening to your body. Now guide the energy, yourself. Imagine strength flowing from your spine into your arms and legs. Imagine every part working as one." Jack concentrated. He pictured energy flowing like a current, traveling through his back, spreading into his shoulders, arms, and legs. For the first time, he felt completely connected, as though his body was one unit instead of separate parts. Her forearms moved, with even greater speed now. The lower ones stretched his legs, pulling them gently but firmly, while the upper ones pressed into pressure points along his spine. Jack gasped at the sensation, not from pain, but from the sudden burst of energy that rushed through him. It's like lightning," he said breathlessly. "That is your strength returning," Thorali explained. "Your body remembers balance now. The energy is flowing freely." Jack's mind cleared. He could picture himself piloting a ship, lifting heavy equipment, even running across a station floor, and all of it felt effortless. His cramps were not just gone, his whole body felt renewed. Thorali slowed her movements, her arms returning to a gentler rhythm. "The alignment is complete. You have reached the breakthrough." Jack opened his eyes slowly. He sat up, blinking, at the brightness of the room. His body felt different, lighter, stronger, perfectly balanced. He stretched his arms and legs, amazed at how smoothly they moved. There was no resistance, no stiffness, only strength. "I can't believe this," Jack said. "I feel like I've been rebuilt. It's not just that I don't have cramps, I feel like I could run for hours or climb mountains." Thorali smiled faintly. "That is the gift of alignment. But remember, it is not only my work. You listened. You adapted. You learned. Without your willingness, the method would not have worked." Jack stood, testing his legs. They felt powerful, steady. He looked at Thorali with gratitude. "Thank you. This has changed everything for me. I thought I was just coming here to fix a problem, but it feels like you've given me a new way to live." Thorali inclined her head. "That is what true healing means. Not just the removal of pain, but the discovery of strength." Jack took a deep breath, letting the new energy fill him. He realized something important. Humans might lack forearms, advanced techniques, or alien knowledge, but they had persistence, adaptability, and the drive to keep going. Combined with guidance, that made them capable of more than he had ever imagined. As he left the clinic, Jack couldn't help but smile. The galaxy outside seemed wider, more open, and full of possibilities. He felt ready for any challenge, not just because his cramps were gone, but because he had learned something deeper. Humans were not fragile. They were resilient, and with the right guidance, they could thrive anywhere. The next morning came quietly. David stretched as he woke up, half expecting the usual pain to stab his leg. But when he moved, there was only a dull ache. Nothing sharp. He blinked in surprise. For the first time in weeks, he didn't feel like he was dragging a heavy chain around his muscles. Kira had said the treatment needed time. Maybe this was the proof. David sat on the edge of his bed and laughed softly to himself. It wasn't a laugh of mockery or humor. It was relief. The kind of laugh that only came when a burden began to lift. He decided he had to see her again, not just because of the therapy, but because something about Kira felt different. Not just alien different. She had a way of making him feel safe. Later that day, David walked into the therapy center. Kira was waiting, forearms folded in a professional pose, though her large eyes brightened when she saw him. "You look lighter," she said. "I feel lighter," David admitted. "It's not gone, but it's better. I can move without thinking the pain will strike me down." Kira tilted her head. "That means your body is responding." "Good. Today we try something new." David chuckled. "Every time you say that, I get nervous." "You should not," Kira replied calmly. "Humans are strong. You only forget because you live among your own kind. To us, your muscles are like steel. Even your pain, it is still proof of your strength." David raised an eyebrow. "That's one way of putting it." She began the session with her usual balance drills, her lower hands guiding his hips while her upper hands adjusted his shoulders. At first, David felt awkward. He was still not used to being held by 4 arms at once, but he noticed how steady she was. It was as if no movement escaped her notice. "Your leg cramps because it is asked to do too much," Kira explained. "Other parts of your body are lazy. We will teach them to work." She made him stand on one leg, then passed a weighted object into his hands. He wobbled, nearly falling. Kira caught him with surprising strength. "You see?" she said. "One muscle suffers while the others watch. That is not fair to your body." David laughed. "So my own muscles are lazy co-workers?" "Exactly," Kira said with a small smile. "And your poor leg is overworked." By the end of the session, David was sweating, his breath heavy. But it wasn't the same as before. The pain had been pushed back, replaced by something new. Hope. "Better," Kira said as she helped him sit. Her hands rested on his shoulder for a moment longer than usual. "You will heal." David looked at her carefully. "You really believe that, don't you?" "I do," she answered. "And not just because of therapy. Humans do not give up." "That is your strange gift." David grinned. "Funny, I thought my strange gift was cramping at the worst times." Kira laughed softly, and it startled David. It wasn't the harsh or high-pitched laugh he had expected from an alien. It was warm, almost musical. He realized then that he liked making her laugh. The weeks passed, and each session grew easier. David could walk without limping. He could even run short distances again. The cramp didn't vanish completely, but it no longer ruled his life. On the final day of his scheduled therapy, Kira greeted him with something unusual. In her forehands, she held a small object wrapped in simple cloth. "What's this?" David asked. "A gift," Kira said. "For you." She opened the cloth to reveal a carved figure, shaped from pale stone. It was a small sculpture of a human figure standing tall, muscles strong, holding up a weight. But behind the figure stood a taller being, clearly one of Kira's kind, with 4 arms stretched outward as if supporting the human's back. David stared at it, speechless. "You made this?" Kira nodded. "My people carve to honor moments. This one honors you. Human strength with alien support." David felt something tighten in his chest. Not pain this time, but emotion. He swallowed hard. "I don't know what to say." "You already said it," Kira replied softly. "Every time you stood again, you spoke louder than words." When David left the center,